body weight strength. There is no equipment required. Your body is the resistance. And then we have this awesome thing called gravity, which we're constantly fighting in one way or another. All right. For music, I'm not playing any music here. Feel free to play anything that motivates you. Really, really loud, whatever you want. I can't hear it. You're all on mute. All right. And if you want to scream curses at me, you can do that too. I can't hear you. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. It's 5:31. We have 30 minutes here, and we're going to start with squats, the basis of all movements. You're going to see a lot of these movements. This is also a great way to warm up. I'm going to show you the profile view. But first, the front view, you want your feet about shoulder distance apart, maybe a little wider, whatever's comfortable for you. And then you want your knees in line with your toes as you squat. Now, what is a squat? I'm going to turn from the side. It's a hip hinge first. So first your butt goes back, and then your knees bend, and then a little bend at the ankles. All right? So your knees do shoot forward a little bit, but you don't want it to shoot too far past your toes. Reach that tailbone back and down. And then you want to keep your chest up, spine in neutral as much as possible. I kind of just swing my arms forward for a counterbalance. And look, my shirt says, "Be a beast." You should hopefully be able to read that at all times. Like, I shouldn't be dropping my chest like this and hiding my awesome logo. So, things to think about. For now, you can go as low as you like. During the workout, you can always go as low as you like. We're aiming to get your butt around knee height, maybe a little higher than knee height, but just around that knee height. I'm not counting right now because we're just warming up, but when we do start the reps and sets, we're going to be doing 2 sets of 16 reps each for 32 counts. Why 16? Well, I like an even number, and I think 8 is too little, and 16 goes in 2x8s or 4x4s. I don't know. I just really like 16. All right, go ahead and lift those knees. Warm up those hip flexors. If you want to kind of open up those hips, you can reach it out to the side. You can also reach it to the front. It doesn't really matter. You can even alternate. Couple to the side, couple to the front. Want to engage those abs and keep that chest lifted too. Good, let's add an overhead reach, getting those shoulders warmed up. So we want to warm ourselves up because we want to kind of slowly build up in intensity. If you didn't like jog or walk right before this, and your muscles might be cold and a little stiff. So we want to just slowly increase that body temperature, slowly increase the heart rate, slowly increase how fast we breathe. And see this? I'm getting winded in the world. Now, if you ever want to start talking to yourself, you can figure out how intense you're working out. Okay, we're going to lunge. I'm going to show you profile. So my feet are hip distance apart, and I'm going to have a pretty nice long stride. I'm going to count this one out. Both knees aim for 90 degrees at the bottom. That's 4, 5. Vertical drop, bend that back knee to about ankle height. 8 more, chest stays up. Hold your arms out for balance if you like. Give me about 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Put the other leg in front. I'm going to face you guys for this one. See, my feet are hip distance apart. One foot is not hiding behind the other. And we're going to, once again, keep that chest up. We don't want to drop the chest. Good. When I say 16, I mean, that's just a number that I give out, mostly because we can probably reach muscular fatigue in 16 reps. And if you don't feel it in the first set, you probably feel it by the second set. But if you're feeling a lot of muscular fatigue by 10 reps, then stop. Take a break. Okay? You can take breaks at any time during this class. Last one. All right, we're going to warm up our core here. This is a plank. It's vertical. It doesn't really do much more vertical. So let's go on the floor and make it horizontal. Shoulders over the elbows. Press into the floor of those forearms. You know, like the palms can face in, the palms can face down, but you want to engage that. And then reach the toe back, heel back, and then the other. Good. I tend to like start with my butt a little higher and ask myself, do I feel anything? No. I lower my butt, squeeze my quadriceps, really draw my abs in. Again, still pressing to those forearms and starting to engage all those muscles. From shoulders, abs, glutes, quads. A lot of muscles are engaged here to stabilize that spine and pelvis. Good, hold it for another 3 breaths. Just gonna check the chat here. Inhale and exhale. Oh, that was from before. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Yeah, that's 3 breaths. Guys can come on down, or you can stay there forever if you like. All right, so let's get into the workouts. All right, we're gonna go back into the squat. I'm gonna ask you for an extra wide squats here. Good, my extra wide squat is about 3 times hip distance apart. My toes and knees are turned up to the corners of the room, and my knees are right over the ankles, okay? So in a wide squat, we push our knees out a little bit more. You're gonna feel more of a hip opening. All right, let's do 16. When you have a wider squat, you can tend to keep your chest out more because your butt doesn't shoot back as much. 8, 7. Now at this point, I'm not gonna give any more breaks, but it doesn't mean you can't take any. Immediately after this, we're gonna go 2 more into our push-ups. So going from lower body to upper body. Push-ups and hands are gonna be nice and wide. Let me show you from the front. And you do it on your knees, like this. 16. So elbows are bending to about 90 degrees, chest is lowering to elbow height. Push-ups are challenging. Push-up is a moving plank. So try to focus on maintaining a straight line from ears, shoulders, hips, and knees. And then just focus on bending those elbows. All right? Push until fatigue. Challenge yourself. Find something that's challenging but doable. Okay? And whether or not you hit 16 or 12 or 8 today, every time you do this class or every time you do push-ups, you're going to try to do 1 more. All right, I think that's 16. I honestly lost count, but I will not lose count next time. Back on your feet, wide squats, 16. So this is called active rest. We're resting our arms. We're working on something else. This time we're going to squeeze a lot of reps into 30 minutes. We're not really going to take too many breaks other than resting a body part or working on another body part. Okay? Remember, you can grab water at any time. 8, 7, keep those knees aligned with those toes. 6, 5, 4, always breathing. Back down to those push-ups. Good. Feel free to try it on your toes, or you can try 8 on your knees, 8 on your toes. It doesn't matter. Any combination works. Breathe. Inhale on the way down, exhale on the way up. Got 8 more. And 4 more. And up. Getting ready for lunges. I'm going to show you sort of a middle of, I'm not facing you. I'm not going to turn to the side. I'm going to be at a diagonal. But you can face me, whatever doesn't strain your neck. Lunge to a knee lift. All right, so we got to work on our balance a little bit. If you want to use those arms in opposition, by all means do so. It's how your body naturally wants to move, arms in opposition. So that standing leg, which is my left leg, your right leg, it's gonna feel the burn because it is bending and lifting. And the other leg is pushing off. It's doing some work, but a different kind of work. All right, we're on 12. By the way, my counting is very sort of loose. If you're a better counter than me, count to 16 on your own. Here we go, we're gonna do the other leg. 16. So technique is always more important than speed. All right, so feel free to slow it down if you need to. We got 8 more. Four more. All right, we're going into a plank. So upper body, abs, all stuff. I'm gonna be on my wrists, but feel free to be on your elbows like we did earlier in the warm-up. So here my shoulders are underneath my elbows.
one toe on the heel. Tap and return. Tap, return. Just quickly enough to create a little bit of a challenge, right? Because you went from a 4-point base to a 3-point. Still breathing, abs drawn in. Aiming to have a straight line from shoulders, ears, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles. If you prefer doing planks on your knees, feel free to do that. You're probably not going to do the toe tapping part. You're going to hold. And if you're doing planks on your elbows and your knees, you're also going to hold. All right? All right, stand back up, ready for our lunges. I'm going to give you an option to add a little bit of propulsion, okay? So when you're down here, if I drive my knee up a little more quickly, a little more forcefully, it kind of just pulls my foot off the ground. All right, that's an option. You don't have to, you can keep it low impact and keep that foot grounded. So a little bit of propulsion. Notice my heel's coming off, but my toes are barely coming off the mat. All right, so it's not a full out jump. It's just a little bit of a lift. And I keep my knees soft so that's safe landing. 8 more of these. So our muscles aren't always moving in slow motion, right? We have our slow twitch muscle fibers and our fast twitch. So with strength training, you can't always just be moving slowly. We do. We want to move slow and controlled. Make sure we're not injuring ourselves. Last one. But at the same time, if we only train in slow motion, then we're never able to use our muscles for fast-paced motion. There's one. I'm sure you don't want to hear me just counting all the time, so that's why I'm not constantly counting. Give you some tips on why we do what we do. Which is why I'm sometimes often counting. But it's okay. Doing one extra, oops. Never hurt anybody. All right, 3 more. Propulsion is optional. 2. Okay. Back into our plank. 2 sets of everything. Remember, you can be on your knees, holding. Knees here. Or you can be on your elbows, sorry. And then you can do this tap too. Okay? It's just different how you feel and how much your arms work when you do a high plank versus a low plank. Good. I'm pretending like I have a very expensive glass of wine on my butt. I'm not going to spill it. So I'm very, very gently tapping that leg over without rotating, without dropping my butt, without moving my butt. All right? Let's do about 4 more taps. And last one. Good. All right. Back to lower body. We're going side lunges just to the right. So if you're mirroring me, this is my left leg, but it would be your right knee bending if you're facing me. And what happens, you're going to feel a nice inner thigh stretch on the other leg that's staying straight. Both knees and toes are reaching out to the corners. Once again, my knees are tracking in line with my toes and they're not shooting past the toes. Okay? This is your side lunge. We good? All right, so let's just finish out the 8. We'll do it on the other side and then I'm going to add some variation. This is a really actually good strengthening in the bending leg and a stretch in the straight leg. 3 more. Good. So remember, you know your body best. Yeah, I'm doing squats, lunges, very typical body weight movements. If that bothers your knees or hips, please feel free to make some adjustments. So like, don't go as low, don't stand as wide. So we switch sides. 8 more. And now, what am I doing with my hands? Let's go yoga like Whitney. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So there's some exercises like push-ups when it's body weight. It's very challenging. But maybe sometimes you're like, oh, because our legs are so much stronger than our upper body, maybe we don't feel as much challenge. How do you add more challenge? You can decrease range of motion, so pulsing. So hands can be up here, it can be down here, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bend into my bent knee. So if you wanna straighten it all the way, that'll give your muscles a little rest. If your muscles don't need that rest and you really wanna burn it out, lean, see my body's kind of straight, vertical, lean, vertical. Good. More bends, slightly less bends, but not straight. Not straight. Yeah. That's how the muscles burn out, because you keep it loaded. Got a little bit of side bend here, stretch here. 8 more. You feel it? Because you're not straightening the leg. You probably feel it. 3, 2, I'm ready to switch sides. 1. Woo. All right. But notice, anytime you straighten your leg, you release that muscle. So at any point you want to straighten your leg, you do it. 16 pulses here. And the weight of my body is adding to the weights felt or resistance felt in my leg. That's why I'm doing it. So the other thing you can do is you can pulse like this and not dip your body. And that changes how much work that leg feels. All right, so the more you are aware of what your body can do to you to help with resistance, the easier it is you can cheat. No, I'm just kidding. Because I know how to make things harder, I also know how to make things easier. It just comes with the territory. 3, 2, and 1. Let's go into our side plank. So that was our side lunges. Just to kind of go with the theme, side planks on your elbows. So it can be a lot of stress to the shoulders. So feel free to keep that bottom knee bent, and that kind of takes some of the weight off your shoulders. Push those hips up. It's okay if you go a little bit past neutral. This is neutral. It's okay if you go a little bit past neutral, because you just work your obliques that much harder. If you've done planks before, side planks where both legs are straight, by all means, go ahead and do that. I'll show that in the next round. Do 8 more. Stay strong through the shoulder. See how I'm not sinking into the shoulder? You really want to stay lifted. How am I doing on counting? Do I get 16 right maybe 90% of the time? Okay, let's switch. Another reason why I'm not too worried about counting is because I can't assume that everyone is moving at the same pace I am. All right, I might be moving faster, I might be moving slower, so my 16 might not be your 16 regardless. So in the end, it's about you feeling like you've challenged yourself. Like you've pushed yourself to the limits and you're barely able to do the 16th rep. Feeling that muscle fatigue, that muscle soreness. Yes, if this is your first time doing strength training or resistance training, you will feel sore after this. It's a good sore. It's a hello muscles, I didn't know you were there. Thanks for hanging out with me. Okay, on our next round, I'm gonna do this with my legs straight, but we're back into our side lunges. Oh, so, sorry, I know it sounds like we're gonna do side lunges for the 3rd time, but this first one I was kind of introducing it because we didn't really add the resistance yet. So we'll count this as set 2.5. All right, here we go. 16. Good. Notice I'm like leaning over, but I'm not like collapsing, okay? So it's a very strategic weight shift to challenge that bent leg, all the glutes, inner thigh here. 4, 3, 2, and switch. 16. So I'm not holding my legs. There's a little bit of a shifting. It naturally happens anyways. But if you do want to hold your lower body still and just focus on moving the upper body, that's okay too. 8 more. I feel sometimes when we do the first set, it's like, whoa, what is this? And then by the second set, we're like, oh, got it, figured it out. Not so bad. And that's why I do 2 sets of everything. If you hated it the first set, you'll love it by the second set. Okay. So we're on to the Side plank again, and when I have both legs straight, I tend to stagger it, but you can stack it. There works. Okay, down and up. I'm not resting my hips on the floor. I'm getting really close to the floor, and I'm pushing it back up. And the reason I keep my top arm up is just to remind myself to stay lifted out of my shoulders. You can do 8 with both legs straight, and you can do 8 with the bottom leg down. You can do any combination you want. It's not like once you pick a version, you have to stick with it the whole time. Give me 4 more. And switch. Good. You'll notice it's not just your obliques that are working. Your shoulder girdle muscles, very, very much at work. Remember, you can take breaks anytime. I'm just going to go from one exercise to the next, but targeting different muscle groups. We got 8 more. And 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going back into squats. All right, we started with squats, we're going to end with squats. Squats is just something we do every day. Every day you sit in a chair, right? So that's squatting. Where's my chair? It's back there. It's my imaginary chair. We're going to do a narrower squat, narrow squat. So about shoulder distance apart. So just like we did before, you reach your butt back, hinge at the hip. But this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna walk it out. So I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna walk to the right, very itty bitty steps. I'm gonna stand up, and we'll walk it out. 4, 3, 2. So we're keeping our legs muscles loaded. Get as low as you can, walk it out. My feet don't come together. They go a little wider and then back to about shoulder distance. Okay? We're good? Each one counts as 1, obviously. No, just kidding. So that was like 4 steps, that's 4 steps, that's 4 by 4. Well, let's just do a couple more. It's really hard to know how to count this, but basically when I'm tired is when I think you'll be tired. Now this is the last one. Okay, so you can decide, once again, show your logo, you can decide how low you want to sit. On your backs. All right, so this is straight up abdominals here, okay? Now, basic crunch, I want to show you first. This is where you're gonna go to if I do anything that bothers your lower back, neck, anything. Feet on the ground, lower back imprinted, head and neck supported, okay? This is where you're gonna go. I'm always gonna start with this, and now I'm going to add other stuff. I'm gonna lift my legs off the ground, I'm still imprinted. If this bothers your back, place your feet back down. I'm gonna straighten my legs. I'm lifting my head, neck, and shoulder blades off the ground with my abdominals. I'm not yanking on my head. Somebody counting? Let's do, feel free to keep your legs right here, or take it on the diagonal a little bit for 8, 7, 6, 5, there's a rainstorm out there. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. I know, it seems like I didn't count all the other ones, but I was slowly building up to that one. Okay, this is in honor of Whitney, who does really phenomenal yoga. So go back into your squat and lift your arms up. Hold something over your head and walk it out. 4, 3, 2, other direction. 4, 3. How low can you sit? How high can you reach those arms? Lots of work in the rear deltoids, right? Because the torso is tilted slightly forward, so the upper back muscles really got to do a lot of work. One more time across, each way. Keep reaching those arms up. If that bothers your shoulders, please feel free to keep your arms here, of course. Yeah, there's like a hurricane out there. I don't know if it's just Cambridge, but there's like acorns flying off the trees and hitting my windows. I don't know if you can hear it. All right, I'm going to go straight into the legs on the high diagonal for 16, but you got lots of leg options. Okay? Here we go. 16. You can always vary up your leg position at any time. Don't move too quickly. You want your abs to do the work, not momentum. Don't just throw your arms up like that. Nice and slow. Let's do these last 4 really slow. 4 and lower. 3, lift as high as you can. Lower. 2, last 1. Okay. All right, we have about 4 minutes left. So I want you to do some spine work because it's always important to balance out all the abdominal and core work with some spine. So on our hands and knees, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. You're gonna reach one leg back, no higher than the hip. Reach the opposite arm forward. All right, we're pulsing for 16. Palms can face inward or down, whatever's comfortable for your shoulder. Very small movements, challenges your spine balance. Challenges your balance, but works on your spine muscles. Give me 4, 3, 2, set it up on the other side. First, reach the leg. Make sure you feel pretty balanced here. If you don't feel quite balanced, you don't need to lift your arm, right? You can just lift your leg like this. 16. And 3, 2, and 1. Good. Go ahead and reach one leg forward. Come into a nice low lunge for a hip flexor stretch. And hopefully you feel great after that 30-minute workouts. You should feel your muscles start to fatigue and burn out by the end of 16 reps. While we are limited in what we can do with just our body weight, there's surprisingly a lot of things you can do with just your body. Switch. And also quite a lot of things you can do to manipulate your body so that you can feel more or less resistance. Stretching that hip flexor here. So I'll stay on for 5 minutes, 7 minutes after class if you have any questions. And then I'm gonna go join my other class. But happy to answer questions. Good. Oh, stand on up. Reach those arms up. Press up and lean slightly back for those ab stretches. And then from here, you can drop one arm same side and grab the foot for a quad stretch. You can still maintain a little bit of an arch. Get in the quads. And switch. So quads are most often used for our squats and lunges. And we did some hip flexor stretch and then just dive down toward your toes to stretch those hamstrings. You also stretch your lower back, a little bit of upper back. If you actively reach your arms down toward the ground, or if you grab your calves and then kind of bend your elbows, kind of feel a little bit all across the lats, the upper back. I like to do what's called multitasking when I stretch multiple muscle groups. So last stretch here, IT band, obliques. We didn't directly work our triceps today. We did push-ups, which does have triceps as a sister. Maybe we'll do tricep push-ups next time. So many ideas, so little time. 6 sides. So getting the side of our body here, IT band, obliques. Awesome job.